Okay, so going back together with this tranny here, I ended up on the advice of a guy I bumped into over on the Eric the Car Guy forums that I'm going to put this TransLab Superior shift kit in here. And that comes with, the original problem is these clutch pressure control valves here were sticking, in addition to my teardown finding this damaged diff bearing. So anyway, these valves were sticking and giving me some shifting problems, and I found out that this shift kit here includes replacement valves. You can see that ribbed one next to the original one I took out of there already is the replacement non-stick clutch pressure control valve. The kit also includes some new accumulator springs, some O-ringed end plugs that prevent leakage out of the end of the bore there, and a new pressure regulating valve that is a re-engineered part. You can see some changes in the shape. This hole here on the end of the valve, it has a hole that you put a spring in that's not present on the factory valve. You can see there's a hole in the end of the factory valve. The hole in this land here vents out into this, so it still goes to the same place, but it's being done a different way. And when you get this shift kit, you get a really nice instruction sheet. Also supplies some drill bits, and you drill holes in these spacer plates. They're very clear on where to drill the holes. So I drilled these holes out, and then I chamfered the edges with a larger drill bit. But you drill a total of 8 holes, and they give you the option here to firm up your torque converter, lock up even past what the new pressure regulating valve does. Then you replace a couple of a check ball spring and the converter pressure relief valve. You replace the springs there. And then here's the instructions for the installation of these new clutch pressure control valves. The new accumulator springs you install on the second accumulator, and the instructions on installing the pressure regulating valve. That works better.
Genes are not just things that make us behave in a particular way regardless of our environment. Genes give us different ways of responding.
There we go. Wasn't that clever?
Affects gene expression, actually turning on and off. To put you on a developmental track may suit a kind of behavior. So a study done in Montreal with cycling looked at autopsy of the razors. And it turned out that
That bore drag certainly doesn't feel bad. And so I clean that out there. And there's 210,000 miles of bore scoring. Wow, that spot's rough. It's definitely rough. Should polish that up a little bit in there. 800 grit sandpaper stapled to a pencil, mounted in a drill. Can't rebore the thing. We're not honing anything out, but it just makes it ever so smoother. Yeah, I feel a groove there. The beauty of the pencil thing is you can't apply too much pressure. You can't apply much at all. And this is the same thing I do to clean out valve bores, these spool valves that are sticking. You see this bore, this accumulator piston is pretty scuffed up. Leave some, we're going to have to clean that up. That's definitely rough enough to continue to cause damage in that bore, which is aluminum and this is steel, so the smart thing to do here is to smooth the steel so it stops galling the aluminum, right? So I got some 1000 grit here. Sanded all this stuff, broken all the edges. And it's smoothed out quite a bit. It's tough to see, but I'm trying to show there's actually scratches in this O-ring. There you can see some scratches in this O-ring on the second accumulator piston. Definitely going to want to replace that. This bore for the pressure regulating valve was a little bit shitted up. So I used my sandpaper in there, and then I've got the nylon brush on a drill here. Cleans things up pretty good, finishes it off, and that way you can just drop your valve in and it just falls right in and moves moves freely. It's very important. Moves freely, but you can't feel slack in it. You do not try and smooth out one of these bores all in one shot. You got to give it a little bit of the sandpaper, then do a little bit of brushing, then clean it out, and then check it with the valve, and then go from there. So they give us this blue spring. Goes in the end of this new pressure regulating valve. Gives it a little bit of push, if you will, against the end of the bore. Just lube this valve up nice here.
Or more accurately, cyclical consumption. When we break down the foundation of classic market economics, we are left with a pattern of monetary exchange that simply cannot be allowed to stop or even substantially slow if the society as we know it is to remain operational. There are three main actors on the economic stage: the employee, the employer, and the consumer. The employee sells labor to the employer for income. The employer sells its production services and hence goods to the consumer for income. And the consumer, of course, is simply another role of the employer and employee, spending back into the system to enable the cyclical consumption to continue. In other words, the global market system is based on the assumption that there will always be enough product demand in society to move enough money around at a rate which can keep the consumption process going. And the faster the rate of consumption,
Got some zeitgeist going in the background. Intelligent stuff. Hopefully they won't flag me for copyright infringement.
I thought an economy is a system which demands consumption, and the more the better, efficiently preserve or economize it all. It doesn't. The intent of the market system is, in fact,
So we got this slot here,
what a real economy is supposed to do.
and this bolt with a special end. Basically just run that bolt in there like that most of the way.
We live on a finite planet.
Just force that down in there. Run that in. I can twist that and feel the edges of the slot. You can see it moving the bolt probably. So then, now you know that's back together and we know that's good.
Economic growth is pure ecocidal insanity. Absence of waste, that's what it is. Absence of waste. This system is more wasteful than all the other systems.
So, I'll just torque this down quick.
Level of life organization.
While I'm thinking about it, wouldn't want to leave that loose now, would we? Have that fall out. Once this is mounted up, this thing falls out, that'll just shoot off and jam up against the servo body, which is the next thing I gotta fucking fix here. This thing where I got my clutch pressure control valves.
But we haven't even figured out the cause. You don't want to face the cause of mechanism. You just want to go on, that's what insanity is, where you keep doing the same thing over and over again, it really doesn't work. So you're really
Pull that out.
dealing with not an economic system, but
Bring these new parts over here.
well, as rational as that may seem in the physical world, when it comes to the market world, it is not only explicitly irrational, it is not even an option. It is technically impossible to produce the best.
See,
And the company is to maintain.
now that pressure control valve is supposed to just fucking sort of fall right out of there.
Everything created
But it's not gonna.
in the global economy is immediately inferior the moment it is produced.
Sit here and walk this piece of shit out of here. So fucking jammed up. pull it out of there. There we go. Got all sorts of bore scratching going on there. So let's just see if this happens to fall in. No. They tell you in the instructions, you just ram this thing through there a few times and it'll clean it right out and then blow all the debris out, but that's just not my style. At the very least, I'm going to bore brush these things to start. Alright, let's see what happens now. It's a lot better. Still doesn't just fall right back out though.
Likewise, just as physical goods need to be constantly produced and reproduced, regardless of their environmental impact, the service industry operates within equal measure. The fact is, there is no monetary benefit to resolving any problems which are currently being served. At the end of the day, the last thing the medical establishment
It's close.
wants is the curing of diseases such as cancer, which would eliminate countless jobs and trillions in revenue.
It's close. I'm going to give it a little bit of this sandpaper. Clean it up on my sleeve there.
Not to mention the value of prisons that are privately owned for profit. And then go and rebuild it. We saw this with the windfall billion-dollar contract made from the Iraq War. The bottom line is that socially negative.
Oh, yeah. Just a little bit. Don't go crazy. Saw the RPM on that last drill was pretty low. Not a lot of scrubbing getting done. And then this is just nylon bristles that give it a polishing.
Mainstream media, and especially commercial advertising, all corporations who need this infinite growth have convinced their objectives. And it has all the resources and technology for having been in the hands of infants. What they hear is already in a condition for the brand. Then you see, well, that's how people have been such fools. It's a value system. You know, if there is any testament to plasticity of human mind,
So one's a little bit better than the other at this point.
easily conditioned, guided, people can become based on the nature of their environmental stimulus and worldly forces. The world once known as consumers wander the landscape only to walk into a store and spend, say, $4,000 on a handbag. Likely costs $10 to make and a sweatshirt for the seat.
This is how all you're supposed to have to do is just do this. And that fixes the bore, fixes everything according to the instructions. That's a little bit far-fetched to me that you would just do that. I mean, it's obviously working quite smooth, but
And we might wonder why so many today have a compulsion, shock, and acquisition, when it is clear that they have been conditioned from
So that's in there.
Corporations now spend more money on advertising than the average. They work diligently to create a false need for you to fill it, and it happens to work.
The reason they turned it off was because it wouldn't have been profitable for them to keep it on because he didn't pay his bill. You believe that was right? The responsibility really lies not on the electric company for turning it off, but on those of this man's neighbors and friends and associates.
It does move really nice.
To enable him as an individual to meet the electric bill. Did I hear that right?
So then we've got this deal here.
Caused by not having money.
Got these end plugs that
Responsibility of others.
have an O-ring.
Or in effect, charity, the resources of any form of physical life-supporting efficiency is ruled out by default and replaced by the singular notion of humans seeking advantage over each other for money alone, motivated by their own narrow self-interest, will magically create a sustainable, healthy, balanced society.
There is no life coordinate in this whole theory, this whole doctrine. What are they doing? What are they doing? What they're doing is tracking money sequences. That's all it is. It's tracking money sequences. Presuppose everything that matters. One, that there's no life coordinates. One, no life coordinates. Two, that all the agents are self-maximizing criminals. That is, they think of nothing other than themselves.
Work that O-ring through there.
That's the notion, that's the
And there it seals right up.
self-maximizing.
Right in there and in there.
The only thing that they're interested in
Stick our
self-maximizing
little clip in. Doesn't feel like it went in all the way.
doesn't.
There it is.
No. Where do I not?
Didn't screw it up too bad.
Oh, it's fine right now. Oh, that makes a lot more sense that it starts that far. So,
And that's why they say to use a punch.
Help a brother out, huh?
not quite.
Savage, what's up, man? You remember that smoking nebula I hooked you up with a while back? Listen, Ice, we're getting really tired of you. You're doing everything and yet you're wasting it all. You got plenty of resources and you know it. Why don't you grow up
All right.
responsibility for Christ's sake? You're making your mother miserable.
That ain't coming out. And now that's... So we've ruined this valve body with aftermarket parts now.
Wait, it's ruined?
Yeah. That I can't get that back out.
What happened?
Well, I've installed the plug. I've installed the orifice, and now it's in there.
Oh.
It's not coming back out.
But that's normal. That's the way it's supposed to be.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
I
But
thought you just ruined it.
no, but technically it is ruined because now it's been modified in a way that I can't unmodify it really without really ruining it. So it's ruined either way.
You can just drill a screw through the middle of it and pull it out.
Yeah, there's a reason you work next to me.
I've dealt with things like that before.
Power consolidation, while also generating, such as how long it takes for, say, a tree
Well, I got my valve bodies all together. See about getting this diff bearing pulled off. Probably gonna fucking explode as soon as I put this tension on it. Oh, I felt it move, so that's good. Definitely got some pressure on it, but it's coming off. Easy peasy. Battery was dying there. Easy peasy. Oops, got my wood wet. Almost there.